Rolling?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So here is a little video that we're going to do about dyslexia and learning disabilities since school's back in session. So dyslexia is a common term. It's thrown around quite a bit. A lot of times when people think, oh, I flip letters and I flip numbers and I mix up numbers and letters and I do that in my head when I read that person has dyslexia. That's probably the most common symptom of dyslexia, but there's a lot more to it than just flipping numbers and letters and getting words mixed up and things along those lines. Dyslexia is a term that may not be thrown around in schools or school systems nowadays. They might just simply say a reading disability or a learning disability. Either way, we'll just use that term because that's what everyone knows. So when it comes to dyslexia and other learning disabilities, generally speaking, these are left brain issues, as in the left brain is not activating as well as it should. And when I say that, when I say it to other patients, we mean, think of it like an orchestra. You have the left side of the room or left side of the brain here, and then you have the right side of the room here, and let's say you have your conductor. The conductor is doing all that it can to get that left side up and going. However, the left side is playing a little lower and a little slower than the right side. So the right side is operating just fine, but the left side could use a little boost. And when the left side is not operating as fast or as loud in the orchestra as we'd like, then this is going to give rise to our learning issues, including dyslexia. Because on the left side of the brain, this is where we have detail-oriented tasks that are processed. This is where the small details are dealt with. This is where linear, step-by-step thinking is processed. And this is where most of our logic is housed as well. Then lastly, with school, this is where word decoding kicks in. So this is where that term dyslexia gets thrown around a lot, because this is where kids will end up flipping P's and Q's and D's and 4s and 9s and S's and 5s, and getting things mixed up either in their head as they talk to themselves when they read, or when they're reading out loud, or lastly, when they're doing arithmetic. So this comes down to a left brain, usually detail-oriented issue where the left brain just needs to fire up a little bit more, so it has a little bit more juice to run under the hood, if you will, to make the word decoding make sense and to make arithmetic work properly. So these are the kids in school that have issues with math. It takes a long time to learn times tables, or it takes a long time to understand math concepts. And these are also the kids that when they are reading something, they can probably do better when they're listening to someone, but if they have to read something and then make sense of it and ask questions, that's where they're gonna fall apart. However, they can probably listen to it and do a little better, whether it's a teacher or a parent doing that. The downside to all this is usually these kids will have issues with all of this. And the other downside to that is this is what most of our school tasks are. So across the board, these are kids, unfortunately, where it takes more time to do math, do reading, and do any sort of homework. These are the kids that have big task avoidance at home, homework avoidance. They will do anything they can to get out of homework. Not necessarily throwing fits all the time, but they are going to be very creative on ways of coming up to not do homework, including starting to unload the dishwasher. If you want them to start doing chores, just start getting out the homework and they'll do the chores. Either way, I just wanted to go over a little bit of what's going on with learning disabilities in kids. So then the big question is can we do stuff about this? Can we fix this? Yeah, most of the time it can be. Sometimes the kids need to be put on an IEP, which helps tremendously. For the ones that are a little further off and they need a little bit more attention, That's where they come in and we end up doing sensory motor exercises and a functional neurological rehab program to ram up that left side of that orchestra so that when they go into school and go into their IEP, they end up grasping the concepts better and it starts clicking. And this can occur at any age, even up through adolescence, where we've even had college kids come in. So, Dyslexia 101.